What's going on, guys? Rob here, back today for another assembly and product review of an item. Today we're going to be going over the welding table from Chicago Electric, and this can be purchased at Harbor Freight. I got it the other day on sale. I think it was $55, so pretty cheap. And pretty much just going to go through today. I'm going to unbox it, put together, tell you all the tools you need and everything, and I don't know if I'll show the whole process of putting it together, since it might be a little tedious and pretty easy, since I'm pretty sure it's just putting all these bolts in, and that wouldn't be that fun to watch. So if it's not that hard, I might just show one or two steps of the assembly and then show it in action. So this is pretty nice. It's small. As you can see in this picture, they almost look big in this picture, but the dimensions are as below. 30 inches high, and the table height is 32 7/8 inches high, so it's pretty sturdy. The one reason I got it was because of this. Folds flat for easy surface. As you can see in the garage, I have, and my family has, way too much stuff, so if I can just tuck it in here next to my little workbench with the welder in between here, that will be perfect, since I already have taken up a lot of the garage, not including where the cars go. So without further ado, I'll get into the unboxing and tell you a little bit more about the product. Alright guys, so I know I said a minute ago it might not be that hard to put together, and it might not be even worth making a video on, but hey, can it get much more complicated than this? I don't know. There's a lot going on, and there is minimal instruction on which bolt and washer is which, so I had to go ahead and categorize it, because otherwise I would be completely lost right now, and it would be a toss-up whether it got finished. So from what I can tell, we're going to need an 8 and a 10 millimeter bolt or wrench, or both. We're going to need a regular sized Phillips head. We're going to need a large Phillips head. And then we're going to need a 13 or two 13 wrenches or sockets. And that will be for all of these bolts and washers. Those as well. Those two. And then even these little guys, which are the little 8 millimeter nuts. So I guess we'll get started with the base, which is the first step, and hopefully we can find a place for all of these nuts, bolts, and washers. Alright, so the first step is going to include these two 45 millimeter bolts, two nuts, two washers, and one of these plates. So the side we're going to be working with is this welded nut should be facing down, like so. And then we are going to put this on, like so. Just going to slip this through the hole, all the way through. I'm going to flip it over so we can work on it. Then it's going to go a washer, and then a nut. So in this step, I'm going to tighten this from below. I'm going to crank that on. I guess since this is a moving plate, you're going to want to have a little slack to it. So I think I'm just going to do one of these at a time here. It's going to be kind of odd balancing these up here, especially with all of my nuts and bolts laid out all in a clean fashion. So a bit crazy here. So I'm going to take two of these, two of these, two of these, which are 2 12s, 2 7s, and 2 8s. And for that, I guess I will stand the other one up here. Just lightly screwed it in there just so I can get this to balance here. It's kind of an awkward thing to do with one person on a workbench. There we go, now we've got some progress on this side. I'll tighten down this side and then I will throw on the other side as well. Guess you don't have to watch me tighten them, but tightened. We are going to be adding the support brace, and I actually have it backwards. Because the support brace is supposed to be on the same side as your little tool rungs, which came installed but is technically a step on here. So I'm going to throw this on here with the two longest bolts you got with the large screwdriver head. So we're just going to slide those through. So the follow-up, the third part of that step is going to be putting on the little yellow things, the adjustment knobs. Guess let me just refocus you here. Get me going on there with the yellow knob. One of the last two long bolts, and in between the yellow knob in the bolt we will want a, let's see if it's a 7 or a, this is an 11, so it's a little bit of a different bolt, or washer, excuse me. Zinc coated washers that indent into these circles. So you're going to want to put the circle away from the knob, and that will lock it in certain place. And so on the other side of this is that welded in nut. So this will just screw right in, and once you get it good and tight, that washer will sit in there, and now it will hold it in place. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. I won't show you, but do that to both sides. And that is that step. So we're getting close. So the next step we're going to be doing is attaching the bottom seating plates here, facing out, the L out, like this, to the bottom of the table here, with the small nuts and bolts and the small washers. I think we got gypped some of the smaller washers here and got replaced with some of the bigger ones. So, I don't know, it's just the way she goes sometimes. But I think the easiest way to do this will be to put all of these in here in the 4 little corner bolts, nut holes, and then I'm going to flip this over and do the rest upside down. So hopefully I can somehow keep all of these in at the same time. And without causing too much of a loud disturbance. I'm actually going to put these nuts on to hold it in on the top, and then I'll hold it in the bottom ones. Because I'm just so smart. That was the smartest thing I've done in all of 2021 so far. Use what you got. So I'm just going to, and then I'm going to put these on with the L facing out, right over these. I'm just going to move this out a little bit, find the screw in the bottom to hold it tight, and just ratchet this. The table is about to really start taking shape. We're going to be using 3 bolts, which are the only 4 10s left, and then we're going to use 4 washers and 4 nuts on there. And so for this time we're going to be going from the bolt in to out instead of out to in. But I'm going to get the table here, I'm going to put it on upside down so that the adjustments are lined up here and on the other side, and I'm going to put the table on like that. So as you can see here, this is how I'm going to put it on. Alright, so one of the last steps, or I mean I guess it really is the last step, is putting on these sidebar extension, the short and the long. So I'll just show you one. I'll show you the short, and you're going to need these little flippy thingies and 2 of the small washers per side. I guess you can either have it up here to be able to clamp something side to side, have it like this to be able to raise something. So it's nice that it has this because it can just always be down and out of the way. And yeah, there we have it. Here is, my glove stuck in my tripod. Here is the table. So not bad for my workbench size. It's about 2-3 inches taller. You'll definitely have to bend over a good amount if you want to go straight down and stand, but I think it's going to be convenient having a little chair. If I sit down here, I'm at a good level to be able to lean and work on my piece. So I'll throw in a little clip of a quick weld, and that'll probably be the video. So one annoying thing I found right off the bat with this table is if you're going to be clamping things to the table to weld them, which you probably are, there's these little, if you can see, this metal's been cut and just pushed down, and this doesn't sit flush on the bottom, so you're going to be bending this every time if you clamp down on it. So you're going to have to pretty much strictly work in the middle of the table, or strictly work in the side of the table, and you can't even really do that because the bar in there is blocking it. So honestly, terrible, terrible design. Awful. I'm just gonna always be working in this like little middle section because nowhere else is really a viable option besides like the corner of the table, or the edge, sorry. So kind of disappointing there, but guess I'll give it a weld and give you an update after that. So as you can see here, I don't know if it was a bad ground, which I have over there in the corner of the table, or what, but the amount of spatter on this piece is pretty ridiculous, I must say. You can even see it all over the table, but it's just covered in spatter, so not exactly sure what to think about that, but I don't know, we'll have to give this a couple more goes, but it's just covered in spatter. I don't know. Really not a big fan of the table. If you've got a bigger space, don't buy it. Honestly. Get a bigger, better table. Yeah, besides that, honestly, build quality, not the best. It's alright. It stands up. But put together is a bit confusing. I had a couple leftover bolts and washers here, so hopefully it doesn't fall apart, but overall the design is pretty poor. These little rungs, awful. This wall being right here, blocking you from using that, awful. The folding, I guess, will be convenient if the issue with this joint being too small doesn't, persist. I guess it'll wear it out over time. But overall, honestly, just not impressed. And I guess I'm gonna have to do an iron brush. I'm gonna have to do a brush on the table after I weld to get that looking better. It just looks terrible. Really quite disappointed. Look at that. Oh. That should never happen when you're welding. So, bit disappointed with how the table turned out. Quality, build. I mean, I guess, I don't know, only use it for one time, but first impressions aren't great. So, take it as you will. Good value if you have nothing else to weld on. And yeah, so if you liked the video and are looking for more product reviews, more welding, make sure to head over to my channel, give the video a like, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more future content. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Peace.